You are now listening to the NFT Quarterback Podcast with your host, Riki Van Winkle. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the NFT Quarterback Podcast with your host, Riki Van Winkle. Today I'm joined by Danny Singh, and we're going to go ahead and do a recap of Week 6 of the NFL season. Danny, what's going on today, man?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. Just seeing these Eagles fly high.
Eagles. Did you really think they had a chance to go 6-0?
At the beginning of the season, I thought I projected them to do well, but not this well. No, I did not.
I feel like you picked the Cowboys for that game.
Yeah, and specifically that game. Yeah, I thought this was the week that they were going to get a loss. And I thought the Cowboys were going to come through, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
It happened.
It was like the defense showed up to play, but Cooper Rush had 3 interceptions. So from his end, I think they're happy to get, or from the Cowboys side, they're happy to get rid of him and get Dak Prescott back in there.
Yeah, I remember I told you a couple of weeks ago after the Eagles defeated the Vikings. I was like, man, this defense is legit. They had shut down Justin Jefferson for the most part. I believe they picked off Kirk Cousins like 3 times. And it was a fairly low-scoring game. I think it was like 20-10. But, yeah, their defense is legit. The Eagles' defense is definitely legit right now, for sure.
Yeah, so the Eagles put up 26-17 for the Cowboys. And Hurts, if you look at his passing numbers, it's nothing really that impressive. He's got 155 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he only ran 9 times for 27 yards. So
yeah, majority of that came in the first half. I think they were up 20-0 at halftime, and the second half, the Cowboys made a game of it.
Yeah, but Rush throwing 3 interceptions, it's kind of like game over right there,
Yeah, that'll never help you out in any sport when you turn the ball over that many times.
Yeah, for sure not. You got Ezekiel Elliott came through with a kind of a big game. He had 81 yards, 1 touchdown, averaging 6.2 yards per carry. So some people were saying, he's back, but I'm skeptical on that one. I still like Pollard better than Elliott.
I believe Pollard had a slight injury to his hand, and he had I think he was benched by the end of that one. Pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah, so it's funny. What I noticed about this game is last week they're like, how long are they going to keep Cooper Rush in there? He's winning. And then he has one bad game, and they threw him under the bus so fast.
I mean, that's how it is in professional sports. They love you when you're on top, and they're going to shit on you when you're not playing so well.
Yeah. A lot of quarterbacks can get away with a bad game, like a Patrick Mahomes, even though he rarely does it. But if you're the backup to Dak and you're seriously thinking about getting more playing time, you cannot make any mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. And the guy did a hell of a job. He won 4 games, and this is a game that they were going in as the underdog anyway. So it's not like they lost a game that they could have or should have won. Well, they could have won this game, but they were expected to lose this game on paper. So
yeah, and then the schedule really opens up for Dallas after this, doesn't it? What kind of games do they have coming up?
Yeah, so the Cowboys have got 2 easy games coming up, both at home. Next week against the Lions, and then the following week against the Bears. So 2 games that they're expected to win, and it looks the time frame suggests that Dak should be returning next week, but I guess that'll just be all up to the physios over there in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice to see him back, especially knowing how much talent the team has this year. and I'm almost excited to see what he's going to do out there.
Yeah, because there was a lot of hype. Actually, no, there wasn't too much hype around the Cowboys. It's just their offense is good. Their defense had a lot of questions with a lot of rookies and young players growing into their roles, and the defense has definitely stepped up. So I'm excited to see what they've got in the next
Yeah,
couple weeks.
they got opportunity there, an opportunity to make the playoffs, and yeah, we'll just see what happens there. The next big
Yeah,
game that was on the weekend was the Bills and the Chiefs, and that one lived up to the hype. That was a good game.
yeah, for sure. That game, yeah, all the way to the very end. You kind of thought like, oh, is Patrick Mahomes gonna do it again? Like, if you notice what they did at the end of the first half with what 9 seconds, and they
Yeah,
got into field goal range. So yeah, those two guys, I believe, are the two top quarterbacks in the league at the moment. And, it's hard to argue anything else.
yeah, true. I definitely thought Mahomes was going to engineer a last minute comeback drive until he threw that interception.
Yeah,
But it's also partially on the defense for Kansas City because they were leading late into the game and then they let the Bills go down. I believe they scored a touchdown.
yeah, they scored a touchdown with what was it? A minute to go in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
Um, yeah, the Bills they look like a very complete team at the moment. I remember last week or at the beginning of the year I said I think they're a little bit better than the Chiefs at the moment, but I did expect the Chiefs to win this game this week because they were at home. I mean, I was wrong again.
Happens.
So they're saying this win is most likely going to help them obtain home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So they said this is a very big victory for them
Yeah.
because they could potentially play if they do play Kansas City in the playoffs. They could potentially have a home field advantage this year. So that might be a big difference
Yeah,
compared to previous years.
I don't think that's one thing we've seen yet because usually they play the games at Arrowhead, so there's a
Yeah,
little disadvantage for the Bills there. And let me get into this real quick. The Eagles are 6-0 and the Bills are 5-1. But do you think as far as the team strength goes that the Bills have an edge there against the Eagles, or how do you see that?
you know what? That's hard to say because they're both playing really good football at the moment. Both defenses are legit. Or both defenses are elite, and that's a matchup I would love to see. Hell, if I was a better man, I wouldn't put any money on that game. So let me just put it like that. I mean, I would love to see that game, but I'm not putting any money on that. If I did have to put money on that game, I would be on the under. Whatever that point is, probably somewhere around 48 or 50,
Yeah,
and I would bet under on that game.
oh, for sure. All right, and then let's move over to the NFC West. So I feel like the hottest team right now in the NFC West is actually the Seahawks. They're in the third place spot. There's but actually there's a three-way tie for number one. So the Seahawks seemingly have come out of nowhere with Geno Smith, and they're making a run for things right now.
Gino ain't no backup Smith. That's what they're called.
He definitely ain't a backup no more. It's
He's not a backup anymore. I tell you what. And I'm happy for him, man. It's difficult to get an opportunity like this in the NFL, especially this late in his career. He's yeah, man. He's playing some good football up there in Seattle.
Yeah. So he went 20 for 31 with 197 yards and no touchdowns, no interceptions. But if you look at their running game, they had a balanced attack there too. They had one guy with 97 yards and another guy with 48 yards. So that's
Yeah,
130 something.
that's a pretty well balanced offense right there.
Yeah.
So that's good for him, man. They feel like they look like a very well run team. And yeah, what's their coach's name?
You mean Pete Carroll?
Pete Carroll. Yeah, any Pete Carroll team is always well run, similar to any like Belichick team or Mike Tomlin team. They're always going to be a very well run organization, well run team. So he's the product of a good environment, you know,
Yeah.
and just hats off to him. Well done.
Yeah. Doing a good job. And his counterpart in the game, Kyler Murray, from what I've been hearing, it wasn't all his fault. They're blaming it more on the system, and they're saying, the Cardinals are locked in now to both of these guys, and but really they're blaming the coach as far as the media goes. I don't know how do you see that?
The media seems to always blame the coach first. They, I don't know. I mean, coach is always the one that should be held to the most responsibility. But I don't. I think they're just not deep enough this year. The Cardinals, whether it's on the offense or the defense. I know that they will be getting Andre Hopkins back, so that's good for them. But it might be a little too late for them now that they're 2-4 to start the season. But I expect them to start rolling a little bit because Kyler did have 222 yards throwing. He had 100 yards rushing. He
Yeah.
had a 42 long run.
Jeez.
So he's doing he's doing a he's doing a lot. He's doing all he can, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see who they play next week. Next week
They're
they
playing the
play
Saints on Thursday Night Football.
Thursday Night Football on the Saints. So at home. So this is a game that they kind of need to win, right?
Yeah.
And the following week they play the Vikings in Minnesota. So that's going to be a difficult game for them for sure.
Definitely.
But the Vikings do definitely struggle with scrambling quarterbacks. So that's something the Cardinals have in their favor that game.
Yeah. The problem here is that he has all those big numbers, but they're not scoring any touchdowns. 9 points, so 3 field goals. Uh, Yeesh. It's just not gonna make it. In the NFL, you got to score more points than that. You got to score freaking touchdowns, not field goals.
Yeah, just yeah, it's not going to cut it this league.
And then also in the NFC West, you had the Rams playing the Panthers. They won the game, but really you expected them to win that game. And the Niners played the Falcons, and the Niners just fell flat on their face.
The Niners fell flat because they had a bunch of people missing on their defense. Bosa was out, and then the Rams seems like they're just kind of week to week. You don't really know what you're going to get out of the Rams at this point.
Yeah, that's unfortunate considering how good of a season they had last year.
Yeah, for sure.
But what I'm seeing this year is like, as the weeks go on, you can really basing your opinion of a team off of last year is really foolish because you've seen week to week, you see how your picks go too. It's super difficult to say this team's good, this team's good, this team's gonna win, and basing it off of last year is even more crazy. And I feel like it plays no role in what's actually happening this season.
Yeah, definitely. Last year is last year. This year is this year, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, getting into it, look at the Giants. The Giants are 5-1 right now, and they just beat the Ravens.
Yeah, it's crazy to think.
And you were big on Danny Dimes at the beginning of the year, but has he exceeded your expectations?
Danny Dimes is playing for his contract, and he's he's playing well, man. He's playing well, and I I think he's playing like exactly how I thought he would play. If he were to exceed my expectations, that would be him like going for like 300 yards and rushing for another 50, 60 every game. But let's see, he had 173, two TDs, zero picks, 6 yards rushing. So he's getting legitimate numbers through 6 games. He has 1,021 yards throwing, so
Okay.
like a little less than 200 yards. So he's doing just about what I thought he would do. So I don't think he's some like max $40 million a year, but I think he deserves a good 30 million a year.
Yeah. I mean, especially if he can keep winning football games the way he is now, that number's only going to go up
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, wins to pay the bills.
for sure. And the thing is too with Daniel Jones, he's like they're trailing late in games or they need like a big comeback or need a big drive in the fourth quarter and he delivers, which I find really impressive about the guy.
Yeah, that's what you really need in a quarterback, a guy that can come through late. But then the whatchamacallits are kind of known for that, eh? Baltimore for fucking it up in the fourth quarter because it looks like they were up 20-10 in the fourth quarter, and then they just fucked that up with
No
12:50
chance, man.
left in the fourth quarter. Yeah, man. I mean, their defense is just not what we're used to seeing over there in Baltimore.
Yeah, but I was hearing that their old defensive coordinator from Baltimore actually went over to the Giants. So he was directing that defense this week against his old team.
Oh, I did not know that.
Don't ask me his
That's
name, but that's the story going around.
I mean, that's good. I mean, they've made some adjustments. That means in their coaching staff, and it's definitely showing this year.
Yeah, definitely. And the Ravens, they made the wrong changes on their coaching staff. If they're giving up that defensive coordinator and he's going to the Giants and making them a respectable team again, then they need to get back
Well,
to the drawing board.
it's like these teams have reversed. I mean, changed positions,
Yeah, right?
exchanged positions this year. But you know what? The Ravens are actually still at the top of their division. That division is just so bad.
Yeah, Cincinnati can't seem to find its footing at all. I mean,
Yeah.
sure they won last week, but they got to win some games. I mean, they can't keep losing. And the Steelers came through big time this week, and the Browns are just, whoa, I don't know what to say about the Browns.
The Browns are paying their quarterback to sit at home right now.
Yeah, he's
That's what the
probably
Browns are doing.
he's probably loving it, just sitting at home. He's got a big old paycheck. He doesn't even know how to spend it all. Shoot.
I know what he shouldn't do, and that's not get another massage therapist.
Yeah. Isn't that worked into his contract? He can only get massages from the team or something like that.
I hope so. I hope that for the Steelers contract.
Yeah.
You can only get massages here at the facility with our massage therapist, okay? You can't just get your own freelance massage therapist anymore.
Yeah. He would just write people on Instagram and set up appointments like that. So I don't think the team has any way of stopping him from continuing that behavior, to be honest.
They need to make some fake burner accounts and be like, gotcha.
Yeah. They just set up some massage accounts. The team does. Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah, but with all that money guaranteed, there's really no reason for him to hold himself accountable. So what's gonna stop him from going out there and doing it again if he's getting all his money anyways?
I don't know, man. He's got a problem. That's all I know.
Yeah. He should have went to the psychiatric doctor, but once they threw all those zeros up, he's like, I'll just keep playing football. Why not?
Yeah, he said, fuck that. All right, speaking of problems, you know who's got a problem is the Packers.
What are the two things you need for every football game? Beer and jerky. Now, guys, if you have not had Bandit's jerky out of El Paso, Texas, then you have not experienced jerky. Go to their Instagram page today at Bandits Jerky 915. That's Bandits Jerky 915. Over there, you can place an order today for one of their 4 different flavors. All these flavors are here to satisfy your cravings, especially on Sunday when it's time for football. They have red chili, lemon pepper, original flavor, and green chili. All these flavors you guys can order today by reaching out to Bandits Jerky on Instagram at Bandits Jerky 915.
Jets. Jets, Jets, Jets. Man, Jets are actually playing some good football. Who would have thought?
Nobody.
But I know you picked them last week.
Yeah, I picked him.
Yeah, you picked them this week.
But at the beginning of the year, we were calling them like perpetual dumpster fire, horrible
Yeah.
organization, and then now it's like, okay, these guys are pretty good. Or
I remember I did tell you they had some good. They made some good draft picks. You know, Sauce Gardner. I know he had another big game. I don't know if he got an interception, but let's see. He had 3 tackles. I don't know what a PD stands for.
pass defensed.
2 passes defended. I know at the end of all this, as he was leaving the field, he somehow got
A cheese head.
head. Yeah. And he wore that on his way out of the stadium or out of the field to the locker room.
This guy. Isn't he a rookie though?
He's a rookie, man. I told you, this guy Sauce Gardner is legit. He's a good player, man. I like this guy.
And what's the meaning behind his nickname, Sauce? Where did he get that from?
I guess that's his real name, Sauce Gardner.
No.
Oh, look at that's what it has on ESPN. I don't.
I think they call him Sauce because he goes on he covers up everything.
That's what I thought.
His name is not Sauce. Who names a kid Sauce?
The Gardeners do.
The Gardeners.
Man, I don't know, man. He's something.
I mean, he's definitely playing good football because I couldn't watch any highlights on the Jets without hearing his name, and they just kept saying Sauce, 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 on the defensive end. And of course, they got Saleh, the defensive guru, and he's getting paired up with all this young talent. So it's almost not surprising now that you think back about it that the Jets are doing so well.
Yeah, because I remember he got a lot of heat last year. Like, oh yeah, we like him, but is he really that good? Can he be a head coach? And I'm happy that he turned things around over there, at least for the time being.
Yeah, nice. And how did Zach Wilson do in that game? I'm curious to see about that.
It looks like he was 10 for 18 for 110 yards, 0 TDs, 0 picks. So not the best game. Their running back, Hall had 20 carries for 116 yards. So looks like they did majority of their offense on the ground. So
You know what it was too? They had a field goal blocked and a punt block, and I believe they ran the punt back for a touchdown. The block punt.
nice.
Those are the
That is
best points right there. Best points you can
yeah,
get.
that's good because fuck the Packers.
Yeah, the Packers have been too good for too long, and they spent too much money on their quarterback. And now Aaron Rodgers, after the game, he's like, if the players can't get with the game plan, then we really need to simplify it for them. I'm like, bro, if you're going to be simplifying your game plan, then are you going to have enough firepower to even get out there and compete with the other teams?
He looks like he's losing it.
Yeah.
He's losing it, man. Him and Thomas Brady.
Him and Tommy, it's like they're literally falling off a cliff at the moment. Both those guys.
Touchdown Tommy is losing his groove.
Touchdown Tommy. I don't feel bad for the guy though. He should have retired. Why didn't he freaking retire? He was retired.
Should have just hung it up when you had a chance.
Yeah, man. Should have hung up the cleats. Now he's out here like an old man yelling at everybody, kicking people. Like, it don't even seem like he wants to play football. It's just like he has to play football.
Somebody?
What?
He kicked someone? I didn't see that.
Yeah, remember the guy sacked him and got the penalty. The defense got the penalty for the sack. And after that,
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
and they fined him, the league did, they fined Tom Brady a whopping, I believe it was $11,136 for kicking that guy.
He was like, yeah, right. What is this, pennies?
Yeah. He pulled that out of his back pocket. Do you take $12,000 bills? He probably said.
He said, that's all you want?
Oh, man.
I give my kid more than that for lunch.
Yeah.
That's their lunch money on Fridays.
Probably. Imagine what you can eat with all that kind of money. Like, you can get as much steak as you want every day.
I will get the best steak in the whole world.
I'd be eating Kobe beef every day.
The world of NFTs is growing rapidly. Get in there today. Go over to partymansion.io to get yourself set up on the Party Mansion Party Goobs Discord channel. That's where the party is really happening in the NFT world. If you're into artwork, digital artwork, go over and check out the Party Mansion.
All right, we on the next big team, the Vikings. That's another team they're 5-1, right? I don't have the
Just getting by.
just getting by.
Just good enough. I mean, they're all right. Their record is a little bit better than the team actually is, I believe, but their offense is legit. They're very deadly. So that's what they've got going for them, and their defense is better than people give them credit for. They did hold Miami to what was like 16 points, I think. Was it 24 to 16 or 24 to 7? Yeah, 24 to 16. So yeah, they're all right.
Just all right. How would you place them against the other 5-1 team in the Giants?
I think they're a better team than the Giants at the moment, for sure. Because I believe they have a better defense than the Giants, and I think they have a better offense than the Giants. I think they're just better than the Giants at the moment.
And you think Kirk Cousins is better than Daniel Jones?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Stay with my chest. Let me see. Look, he went 20 for 30, 175 yards, 2 TDs, 0 picks. That was Cousins. What did Danny Dimes do this weekend? I think he had actually very similar numbers. Dimes went 19 for 27 for 173. What did I say? Cousins had 197.
Cousins had 175 with 2 touchdowns.
Okay, that's almost exactly what Danny Dimes had. He had 173 with 2 touchdowns.
You know, while we're on this, because you're always hyping up Cousins, how would you rank Cousins as far as like overall league quarterbacks go? Is he in your top five, or what's the deal here?
Oh God, no, not top 5. No way. Cousins he's like right around 15 because like Cousins he can't run, so he's only as good as his O line. If he's got enough time, you know, to stand back there and throw the ball, then he'll sling it. He's got a heck of an arm on him, but he's not gonna scramble. He is not gonna scramble, and there's always that threat of him standing there too long and attempting to make a pass and someone getting their hand on his arm on the ball, as he's releasing it. So there's always that risk of him losing it right before he throws it. But if he's got a good O line, he's got time in that pocket, he'll get some accurate passes, man, for sure. He's got some weapons to help him as well.
Yeah, he had Jefferson getting over 100 yards. Thielen came through and got a touchdown. So it was definitely, from his receiving core, a good game.
Yeah, definitely one of the stronger receiving cores in the NFL at the
moment. Yeah, I think Jefferson alone is just like that true number one receiver. And then to have Thielen, I believe he used to be the number one over there. And, you got him as...
Thielen's always been the number 2. He was number 2 in backup to Stephon Diggs.
Oh, okay.
We traded Diggs to Buffalo and got some picks in return. And then that year we also drafted Jefferson. So we saved some money there. So this is Jefferson's 3rd year. So this is his contract. So this is his first year he'll be eligible for an extension. So I expect a big payday coming for the young man.
Yeah. The receivers are that next group of players who are making the market explode. Like you saw the Tyreek Hill deal. I'm not sure how much money he got per year, but it was a lot. It was like stupid.
I think he ended up getting $140 million total. I don't know how many years. I don't know if it was 5 or 6 years. But yeah, he definitely got paid.
Yeah, for sure. And now you got Jefferson coming up, and in a couple years it's going to be Jamar Chase, but we can't really say how the market's going to be in that many years. We'll just see what happens with Jefferson this year. And if you're the Vikings, you probably want to lock him in long term.
Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely want to do that. And then, yeah, there are a lot of really good young wide receivers. Waddle, Devontae Freeman, CeeDee Lamb is another really good one. So the wide receiver market right now just got so much talent.
Crazy. Speaking of talent, Bailey Zappi.
Oh boy. Mac Jones might be out of a job.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He might be getting that Colt McCoy training.
Belichick's going to show him where the bench is. I'm sure they'll give him a nice seat with like a cushion or something like that next to the heater.
He's going to be like, here you go. This is called a tablet. Yeah. All right?
Don't throw it.
Play with football. Now you're going to be playing with this.
Yeah.
I mean, Zappi killed it. He went 24 for 34, 309 yards, 2 TDs, and 0 picks. Now, that's how it's done right there. That's how it's done.
That is so incredible. This dude, I didn't know this guy existed like 3-4 weeks ago. And here he is now, and he's making a name for himself. Like, he's doing really well.
And he did it against a legitimate defense in the Browns.
Yeah.
That is no lack of a defense right there.
That's incredible.
I mean, out of Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky. So
I mean, he's years old, so this is maybe his second year. I'm guessing he's the same age as Mac.
Mac got no more chance, man. Mac's gonna be riding the bench. Mac's gonna need a different team. Cause I don't know. I don't think you can pass like this guy. I mean, to come in your third game in the NFL and already be throwing for over 300 yards, that's just absolutely ridiculous. No interceptions.
Yeah, his first start, as far as I know. Yeah, Mac is 24, so he's 1 year. So this Zappy might be a rookie.
Yeah, I think he is a rookie.
Sheesh. Good for him. Good for you, Zappy.
Zappe.
6'1", 220.
Jeez.
Yeah, man. He is playing some good football.
For sure.
Yeah, he's a rookie. Out of Texas. Out of Victoria, Texas.
Incredible.
That's where
man.
football.
Yeah, but you know in Texas they do it right.
4th round pick. Man, they might have found another gem over there in New England.
Yeah.
I don't know how Tech does it, but he just keeps on doing it.
Tommy number 2.
And next week they play the Bears, so that should be an easy win for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Sunday night football. Oh no. Monday night football, that is.
Monday night football, they're going to be the Patriots and the Bears next week.
Yep. With a potential rookie leading the Patriots.
If he comes through big on Monday Night Football, Mac Jones is going to need to find out where the unemployment office is.
Nah, I'm sure Mac has still got another 2 years on his contract.
Oh, okay.
Mac is only a second-year guy. So, but yeah, that's good for Zappy.
All right, man. We got one more game this week. It's going to be Monday Night Football. You picked the Broncos. I'm picking the Chargers. How do you see the Broncos making any way to win this game against the Chargers?
You know what? Russell Wilson has got to do something different than he's done the last couple of weeks because he has not looked good so far this season. And if they want any chance of competing in that division, competing to get into the playoffs, then they need something out of their quarterback.
Yeah. I don't think this is the week for it, though. And I heard some analysts were talking, and they were saying, you know, the Bills and the Chiefs are the best teams in the AFC, but they didn't want to make a final statement because they hadn't seen the Chargers play yet this week. So if they see something in the Chargers, I don't know. I'm not that hyped on them to put them in the class with the Bills and the Chiefs. But we got to see how they play today.
Everyone's been really high on the Chargers all year. They've been okay. I mean, they definitely have some power on the defensive line with Bosa and Khalil Mack over there. So, I mean, I'm a big fan of Herbert. I think he's a hell of a player. I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of rooting for the underdog story now with Denver. Like, hey, come on. You guys got to get it together at least a little bit. This is a divisional matchup. Make a game out of it at least.
Yeah. I wouldn't call Russell Wilson an underdog story. The guy won a Super Bowl, and now he's not sure who to throw to anymore.
It's like he's his own worst enemy this year.
Yeah. I mean, it's real easy, Russell Wilson. Just throw to the guy that nobody's covering and not to the guy that has two people on him. I think that was his mistake last week.
Yeah, it's easy to say that now.
The guy was so open, and he didn't even look in that direction.
Yeah, he didn't look at him. That was a bad play for sure.
Oh man, horrible. All right, Danny. We went through all the games, talked about Monday Night Football. I want to thank you again for coming on the podcast, and I'll see you next time, man.
Yeah, no worries, man. It was my pleasure.